Look at it.
My fault.
Alex is watching. Yep. Testing. Testing mic. You got it. Yeah, you can hear it. You can hear us, buddy. Mindy's watching too.
Good. Let a couple more people trickle in, Gary, and we'll get this baby rolling.
Yes, sir.
All right, ready?
Let's get it.
Well, welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Rescheduled recap show, Sunday night edition. God almighty, Gary, it is time for quarterfinal football. Happy Turkey Week, ladies and gentlemen. The road to the Dome continues, and boy, do I feel better than I did last week, my friend, to get through last week's game and last week's show. It was something to witness, I'm sure, because you've seen both emphasis. Friday night it was torment on top of that press box. Wednesday night it was tremendous just to finish that show. But Brock, we are here on a Sunday edition of the recap show, and boy, I feel ready for Turkey Week, my friend.
Right.
What is the emotions right now?
Oh, I feel great, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. And Troy, you know, I got to tell you, Troy, he's feeling a lot better because look at him, he's smiling.
Yes.
You know. But, oh, yeah, I'm ready. It's just the closer we get, you know, as each week goes by, it means we're getting closer to the Dome.
Yes, indeed.
And then once the Dome's over with, we got to wait. We get withdrawals for another year, you know, another 9 months, 8,
Yes, sir.
give or take. But, man, it's just like the season is passing by so fast. We had some wows this week.
Gary, you had some big time wows
Oh,
this
wow.
week. Big time upsets this week.
Big time, yes.
Teams traveling across the state of Louisiana and going knock off some giants. Teams that were higher seeds taking care of business this week. All the one seeds still intact. It's going to be a heck of a finish to this season.
Right. You're 100% correct, Jordy. Some of them we did not expect at all. Some of them we got a chance to call a game that was 22 seed. And, man, it was exciting, and we have a local that stayed in. You know,
we got a couple locals sitting on this table that are still in play for a state championship. Iowa's still here, LCA still here, Cecilia's still here, Opelousas is still here, Northwest is still here, and then out of 50, 3 helmets, Gary?
Right.
We got 3 on the outside still with us.
Right.
4
Yeah,
right
4,
here with Oak Grove.
With Oak Grove, yeah.
Logan Sports, St. Paul's, Manny, Oak Grove. What a time to be alive. It's the best time of the year. They always said it. If your team is playing and practicing on Thanksgiving week, you got something good.
Oh yeah,
going.
That's what you want. If you're a high school football player, you want to be practicing and prepping on Thanksgiving week. That's just one step closer, but that is like the first step to the championship.
Yes, indeed, my friend. So we actually got a game for the quarterfinals. Once it gets to this time of the year, it gets tough.
Right.
Got a lot of big-time people getting covered this week. You know, the big platforms around the state, they're going to jump on them every chance they can, and we don't blame them, right?
Right. Oh, no, I don't blame them at all.
Once the window gets shrunken, you start to take a look at it. Those little guys like ourselves, it gets narrow to find a football game.
But we're lucky. We were able to basically secure a game. And if things go right, we might have one next week. You can't ever tell.
Talked to a few coaches,
yeah,
and they said, you're good for the semifinals, Gary. We have not covered a semifinal game in 3 years.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We've always been on the outside looking in as far as, because the bigger platforms have basically gobbled us out. But we have some friends in the school systems that have basically said, we don't care, y'all can come.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, that is so awesome.
And it all depends on if
who
wins on Friday to punch their ticket to the semis.
Right.
But we've narrowed the field down, Gary. I mean, you got 4 games in each bracket now. We're going to have a game covered this weekend. Let's just say it's going to be a fun road trip.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a little road trip, but you know what? It's worth it.
Absolutely. I guess everyone wants to know at this time, where is Under the Lights headed in round 3 quarterfinals edition? Because you ain't got work Friday. I ain't got work Friday. Thanksgiving, we're going to enjoy ourselves on Thursday.
You're right.
We're going to enjoy ourselves on Wednesday with the family here for Under the Lights. And then Friday, get the gas, get the snacks, and we're headed somewhere for the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we'll announce that a little bit later on.
You want to announce it right now?
Oh, I don't know. You want to do it? Let's go. The floor is yours, Mr. Taylor.
Any guesses in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, before we get this going? I'll take a bite of this breadstick.
I'm just going to tell you, I'm excited to make the trip.
Here's a little, how you say that?
A hint.
A hint. Never covered a game at this stadium.
No, never have. Not Northwest.
Let's see. So Bogalusa. No, I'm thinking of who they're playing.
Who? Northwest.
Northwest is playing Assumption. So Assumption has their own streaming service.
Yeah.
So we're announced. OHS will play Lutcher. Lutcher has a contract with VSN.
Right.
So we're announced.
Can't do it.
Iowa will play North Dakota. North Dakota has their own streaming service. Cecilia has a contract with VSN,
right.
so no go there. LCA has their own streaming service. Manny and St. James, boy, that would have been a fun one. St. Paul's has their own streaming service. Oak Grove, I think they're on NFHS,
right.
if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Friday night, live on Under the Lights. Under the Lights will head up north, take a 3-hour road trip, and we're going cover Logansport and Welsh. One seed versus the 8 seed live on Under the Lights. Thank you so much to both coaching staffs for allowing us to be there this coming Friday. What an honor to cover our very first game at Logansport High School.
And, Jordy did a stadium tour with Logansport, and I'm going to tell you, their facility is unbelievable.
Yes.
It's amazing, and can't wait. We're going to be the first time we ever got a chance to cover a game there, but we get a chance to cover the Welsh Greyhounds, which is, I consider them local because they're right there. So we're going to get a chance to cover one of our local guys. They have to make the trip up to Logansport, but hey, I'm excited, and I think it's going to be a great experience.
I'm sure that's a football town there in Logansport. I'm sure the stadium will be packed out, and I'm not saying everybody stay home to go watch that quarterfinal matchup, but if you can't make the trip, we're glad to be able to bring it to you. Because you expect standing room only type of environment.
You're right. I think, and honestly, just by the pictures that you showed me of their facility, I think it's going to be a packed house, and they have good support up there. And Welsh is going to travel, so look out.
Absolutely, and we look at it as they're a football school over there that loves their football, so we're probably expecting good hospitality when we get up there.
I'm sure, and they've already told us that. So I mean, I'm excited. Just to experience a new stadium and to experience
atmosphere
new people and everything. I think it's going to be awesome.
So I mean, you look at it, Gary. Big road trip Friday for us. A 3-hour trip awaits, but we're ready for the challenge. Ready for the opportunity.
You're right. I can't wait.
All right, Mr. Judy.
Yeah, Judy.
Let us know where the tailgating is, because we will be there fairly early.
We're going to be there way early. We leaving early to get over there, set up and everything, and just look around and meet the people. Yes. That's what it's about.
Coach Neil Morton's in the chat right now. I'm sure Coach is going to take care of us when we get up there, so looking forward to the road trip. But before we get on there, Gary, we got to knock this recap show out.
Let's do it, man. We got a lot of scores to talk about, a lot of wows, a lot of upsets, a lot of positive for everybody.
Man, I got to get a Welsh helmet in order to put it on the table Wednesday night.
Yeah, we got to talk to
Logan Sport Welsh would have been a good one.
Yeah. If y'all out there, if y'all know somebody from Welsh, we need a Welsh helmet to add this. Let's call
Coach Corville and figure out.
See what we can do.
But Gary Swallow, Wednesday night, we do have a time change.
Right.
We have a time change, and it's going to be a little bit earlier because you don't have class that night.
Right.
So instead of an 8:30 Wednesday night show for everyone listening right now, we will kick things off at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock on Wednesday. Because of the Thanksgiving holidays, we're not having class at my school on Wednesday. We're having Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday on we're going to be closed. So we're going to get it early, and that way we can enjoy a good show, and we can hopefully have some guest pickers and talk about the year. But I think we're going to really I think everybody's going to be real excited about having an earlier show on Wednesday.
Yeah, usually when we get to Thanksgiving week or state championship week, we usually do it a little bit earlier.
Right.
So we'll see everybody Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, live from your studio under the lights. So
right.
Pick'em show. All right, Gary, let's talk a little recap from round 2 as we shift gears to head to round 3. You looked at the scores.
Yeah.
You looked at the upsets. What was your reactions Friday night? Because we could not do a recap show. I was in bad shape.
Yeah.
But we get it together. We're ready to go tonight. What's your reactions from round 2?
Overall, and it's an old cliche, you got to play the game. We had some some people that won that we didn't expect to win. We had some of the lower seeds that got upset. As far as you had and one of our cases, we had the 22 seed that beat the 6 seed, So, I mean, it's like, we got a few of those, and we'll talk about them as it comes. But, man, it just, like I said, you got to play the game. And, that just shows it. And some of them were close. Some of them were, nail biters.
By the nail off margin.
Yeah, and some of them were,
pretty lopsided.
A bigger margin than we thought. We thought a game was going to be a 3-point max game, and they were like 3 touchdowns. It was just unbelievable.
70 points later.
Yeah, there's a couple games that we talk about put the 70 on them, but we'll talk about that as we get to them. But man, it just tells you got to play the game.
Any given Friday.
On any given Friday, something can happen, and boom, it's a loss. But
Gary, how about 13 upsets in the second round of the playoffs, highlighted by the big one with Central going knock off Neville in Neville.
Right. That one, I'm gonna tell you, that one really surprised me. But that just shows me that how much progress Central is making in their rebuild. And
coaching matters.
First year Isn't it? It's his first
Yes.
year at Central, and he just is
Got his
changing.
kids in the quarters.
Yeah, he's changing the philosophy and their thinking.
He's won everywhere he's
Yeah.
been.
Oh, most definitely. He's
Catholic of Ponte
yeah.
P, he's brought those guys to the state championship.
Right.
Catholic of Baton Rouge
Rouge.
brought those guys to the state championship. Gary, watch out for Central.
Yeah, Central.
You never know. This
You're
is
right.
5A football. You just never know.
Right. And we got to call him for a helmet.
You know what else, Gary Swallow? They had another big upset in the 5A bracket. Down went Captain Shreve.
I know,
another
man.
Another 2 seed
I
get knocked
never.
out. I mean, Archbishop Rummel is
Great team.
Last year, Brother Morton, they got hot in the playoffs. They were a higher seed. Here comes Rummel. Right time, right place. Here comes the Rummel Raiders.
Right. Rummel, let me tell you something. Captain Shreve was on the right path to get to the finals, but guess what? Nobody told Rummel.
Hey, I picked Central Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Alexandria over Brother Morton's going to get overshadowed by those two big upsets of the 2 seeds.
Right.
But that's another one you can throw into the equation. There's a few.
Yeah. There's quite a few of them that actually, you can consider upsets. And we'll go over that as we get into them. But, man, wows across the board today. Or Friday night. Yeah.
Let's see what else sticks out, Gary. From looking at this bracket here, Lake Charles College Prep continues their run.
Prep, can't leave out the Prep. Got to give them some kudos, man.
Hey, defensive slugfest there. Knocking off the 5 seed. Any other big ones that I'm missing? I don't think so. But Northwest over Wassman. Wassman was projected to go high in the brackets, 6 seed, maybe go to the.
We should put that one there too.
Yes, sir.
We need to put Prep on the table, man.
You forgot Prep?
We forgot Prep.
Well, why don't you take Prep down, sir?
We're gonna put Prep because you gotta have Prep.
We'll put him right next to Oak Grove.
Yeah, put them right here in the middle. We'll put them as Oak Grove and put Prep right there.
Gary, I cannot believe you left Prep off the board.
Man, I did. Hey, sorry. My bad. I was like going, wait a minute, somebody's missing.
So now we got 10.
Now we got 10 of them
still
there.
remaining.
That's right.
Let's see.
All right.
All right, 42 blowouts in the second round, my friend.
Yep.
So there's still some lopsided scores, but a lot of these teams were overmatched and overpowered here whenever they met up with some of these giants. I mean, you look at Ouachita Christian and Westminster, completely overmatched.
Right. And, you got to feel sorry for some of these smaller schools because, man, it just doesn't seem fair. But that's the way the playoff system runs, you got to move them around. But, man, you got teams like Ouachita Christian. You got teams like Calvary Baptist. You got teams like, LCA and all that. They're just so strong. And wherever you are on the brackets, you got to face them.
Carr shutting out Woodlawn 50-0. I mean, you look at some other scores and it's like, man. Newman getting a big shutout win, 45-0. Calvary shutting out Holy Savior Menard, 49-0. Ascension Catholic's stunner of hanging 77.
Oh yeah, man, that was I did not see that coming. I knew they were good, but I didn't think they were that good.
Cecilia hanging 70. North DeSoto 63. So a lot of high scoring blowouts here in round 2. 42 of them to be exact.
Right, exactly. So, but I mean, we'll have an opportunity to go in there. But yeah, Troy, 9 touchdowns in the game, man. Can you imagine that? That is unbelievable.
Gary, 16 games in the round 2 were decided by 1 score or less.
Right.
So there was some good football in round 2.
Oh yeah.
16 of them decided by 1 score or less.
Right.
So that tells you these brackets are starting to get more competitive. Starting to get to that point of the season where you're going to see a dogfight in any of them.
Yeah, well, when you see, now, and we talked about this earlier, now that you see the quarterfinals here, you're going to see a lot of nail biters, a lot of flip the coins to see who's going to win. But it's getting there. It's getting to the point to where there's not going to be a bad game.
Could be tough to pick some games
on
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night's going to be hard.
18 games were decided by 10 points or less, so you just add a couple more points there and 2 more scores.
Right.
But the kicker, Gary, 8 games decided by 3 points or less. They had a few 1-point games.
1-point games, right. We'll talk about
that. 8
that.
games decided by 3 points or less. You got to think it's heart broke in guys across the board in those 8 games.
Oh yeah. When you get to the point to where you got, and that's not just in high school, but that's in college and pros. When you have a kicker that has the fate of the world basically on his foot, that's a lot of stress. But it's also, man, you got some anxiety on both sides. So whether you make it or whether you don't, that'll determine, basically, that is just going to determine how you're going to feel probably for the rest of the year.
And then you look at 2-point conversions.
Right.
You fail them. You
get them.
You get them. You don't get them. How those come back to haunt you or help you at the end. So it's some good ones.
Right.
8 of them this playoff round. Decided by 3 points or less.
You're right.
I think that we didn't have another overtime game this week. If anybody can correct me in the chat, I think that's back-to-back weeks of no overtimes.
Right.
Which is highly unlikely, but crazy to see.
Oh.
Yeah.
I kind of heard that.
Yeah,
too.
I heard it came down to a Hail Mary at the end.
Right.
Garrett, your highest scoring number in the second round was 7. There was 1 overtime round in round 1. Okay. And 0 in round 2, Braden, if I'm correct. So 1 in 2 rounds. It's incredible to think with some of these tight games.
That's really not bad.
Highest scoring second round game was 77 points by Ascension Catholic over Opelousas Catholic. 9 touchdowns
by one person
from the running back. The man went crazy. And Gary, they get a shot at the number 1 ranked team this week. And we hit that type of performance, VC's got to watch out.
Oh, you're right. This is gonna be an exciting ball game whenever they go against the Eagles. Can VC contain him? Nobody else has.
VC's got a good defense.
They do, but nobody else has.
This might be the best team they've played this year. Highest points scored in the playoffs in round 2, 120. 120 between OC and Ascension and Catholic. So that was a 77-43 ball game.
Wow,
no defense there.
No, and you got to feel for the Vikings. I mean, you went out and you put 40-something points on the board, and you lost. Man, that's hard, and I feel for all of those guys. I know a lot of those guys personally. Them or their family, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that's heartbreaking. But you just came across a buzzsaw. Those guys were just hitting on all cylinders.
You look at it. OC came in on a bye, didn't play that last week. Ascension Catholic came in with some momentum, ran with it.
Yep.
But Gary, when I tell you this lowest scorer in the second round that won a playoff game, 9 times out of 10 you would not believe me.
No, I saw it, so I gotta believe it. And that's why I'm laughing.
Lowest score in the second round to win a playoff game was 6 points by Central Catholic. Wow.
Right.
Your lowest scoring game. It goes to that same game. Central Catholic over St. Freg's, a combined 8 points. The game was 6-2.
6-2
in a second round playoff game.
Right.
What in the world is going on?
That just blew our mind, Jordy. Whenever we saw that, everybody was like, "Oh my God!" But hey, you want to talk about a defensive game? That was a defensive game.
That would have been a tricky one to call.
Yeah,
most
definitely.
As commentators,
might have been in the middle of the field,
punt, turnover. Man,
unbelievable
defensive stand. All right, Gary, moving along, my friend. 3 seeds running the Cinderella train, ranked higher than 20, have punched their ticket to the quarters.
Yep, 3 of them.
3 of them. Your highest ranked team remaining is the Northwest Raiders, coming in as a 22 seed. Knocked off the 11, knocked off the 6. Now they get a crack at number 3.
Right. It's gonna be hard, but hey, the way that they've been playing, they got a shot. They believe they can
beat anybody right now.
Right now, yes, sir. And you know what? I can't doubt them. I mean, they're playing some good football right now.
9 seeds ranked higher than 10 still remain in the playoffs. So from 11 to 22, we got 9 of them remaining. So a lot more than we projected when we were talking when the brackets came out a few weeks ago. So tremendous to see some of these teams still playing football. We look at the brackets, Gary. 2 brackets remain intact from 1 seed to 8 seed this week.
Right.
Division 3 non-select, Division 4 non-select, but everything else is bracket busters.
Yeah,
left and right.
They're all messed up.
But 1 through 8 will play each other this week, and those 2 brackets, everything else is a mess. But we love messes.
Oh yeah, I ain't got a problem with messes. That makes everything exciting.
Yes. We got 20 locals that fell in the second round, so we have to say goodbye to a lot of teams we have much respect to and great friends to the show. So congratulations on a great run to those seniors. 15 locals remain as we head into Turkey Week. And Gary, all 8 number 1 seeds still intact, and they remain. But they will be questioned this week.
Oh, yeah.
Will they make it to the semis? It's going to be tough to say that we're going to get all 8. Going to have a lot of controversy this week.
This week will be the hardest week for all number 1 seeds in the state right now. This is going to be hard. It's going to be you better make sure your chin straps buckle tight because it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Yes, indeed. But the new rule is in play. Higher seeds will host the quarterfinals.
Right, from here on out.
From here on out, and the semifinals also will be higher seeds. So if you earn the right to be a top seed in the playoffs, you're feeling good at this time of the year knowing that you're going to have them in your backyard.
You're right.
So that new rule change coming into play this year, quarterfinals, where you would see some teams travel to those teams that upset some teams in the second round. But with the new rule change, you got to switch it up a little bit.
Right.
And we're going to go all higher seeds here. So, Gary, let's start off with some Division 1 non-select. Let's break these games down. Let's talk a little scores and look at a couple future matchups.
Let's do it.
All right, Ruston and Westgate had everything that you would hope for with these 2 teams. Westgate, a few years ago, they were in the Dome. Ruston, last year, they were in the Dome. Both teams eyeing to get back. But, Gary, it would be every bit of the excitement that we thought it had a chance to be.
Right.
20-18, Ruston escapes with a win over a Westgate team that came in trying to hope for an upset.
Well, Westgate is not a slouch of a team, and you knew that they were gonna
got healthy, they could give somebody trouble.
And they gave Ruston everything that they wanted. And you know what? You gotta tip your hat to Westgate, but you gotta say congratulations to Ruston. They're number 1 for a reason.
And coming off the bye, could it have been Rust? Could it have been anything in that nature? Not sure. We was not there. But Ruston, you got to think they're going to turn the film on. They're going to get ready to go play next week and try to get some of those kinks out. But
right,
you know they got a good defense, and they needed it on Friday.
Yes, they did.
Tell you what, number 9 seed Walker had to travel to North Shore, the 25 seed, playing the Cinderella card, but the Cinderella would lose her shoe on this one. Walker rolled with ease, 28-2. This Walker team, they can score some points. You look at the first round, the second round, and if Ruston's not careful, they might slip up in round 3, Gary, because Walker's coming in red hot.
Walker is, I'm going to tell you, Walker's been a team that this year, they've been kind of coasting underneath the radar. Not everybody's been talking about them. And they've been playing some good football. So I tell you what, Rustin better be prepared.
And I tell you what, you move to the next matchup, Gary. Somebody put the shoe right back on, and they're still got that Cinderella underneath them. 21 seed Mandeville. How about you go on the road, knock off Sam Houston in round one?
Send them on.
Yes, Sam Houston in round one. And how
Okay.
about in
I'm
round two, Gary?
Yeah.
You welcome in Santa Mont, a 5 seed, a top 5 seed in the state of Louisiana.
Right.
And that team,
Oh, yeah.
Gary, 42-21. How about Mandeville? The Skippers are skipping along to the quarterfinals.
You right.
How dangerous is this 21 seed?
They are very dangerous. You better be extra careful for this because, man, I'm going to tell you, they're hitting on all cylinders right now. They're doing a good job. They're scoring points.
Yes, 50 round 1, 42 round 2. Get ready for a slugfest in round 3 because wait till you see who they meet up with.
You right.
Southside and Airline. That was a 13-4 seed. We thought that Southside had an opportunity to go pull off an upset here. It would not be easy. We said you had to score with Airline in order to pull off an upset. Gary, a 1-point thriller. It was a squeaker of a win. Airline escapes at home, but not before it took every last inch of the Sharks pushing them.
Right. When you lose by 1 point, that just means that, God, that was an exciting ball game. And
I would like to be a flyer in that stadium.
Hats off to Coach Fontenot and everything he's doing at Southside. Southside is such a new team. We keep on saying that they're a few years old now, but man, look at what he's doing. He is just making it so strong. He's throwing monkey wrenches in that district over there in Lafayette. And, won it last year. And
now pushing top 4 seeds in the state.
So,
losing by 1 on the road, tough environment.
Right.
But what does that speak about Airline?
They can score.
They know they can score. And that old phrase, I might have to outscore you. But if I win by 1 point and it's a shootout, so be it.
Yeah, and that means I still win, whether you win by 1 or whether you win by 30.
That might be what they live or die by in this playoffs.
You're right.
But that should be a fun offensive showdown next week. Holy cow. Destrehan trying to defend their title, Gary. No problems coming off the bye. They look fueled. They look re-energized. They look ready to go. They'll chase another victim to the Destrehan Wildcats. 31-10, my friend.
Yeah, Destrehan, once again, I think I said this earlier. I think that nobody's talking about them again.
Well, we're talking about them now.
We're talking about them now, but I mean, they've been quiet. They've just been a quiet, undefeated team.
You show up to the field, you handle business. And it's a business type of football team.
Unbelievable.
They do what they set out to do week in and week out. But Gary, the stage has been raised. Quarterfinals.
This is going to be it, buddy.
We can circle this one and say, this one has every bit of a state championship taste to it. And my God, the Division I talent that will be on that field next week. We look at who they will play. Salmon came into Zachary, and Zachary handled business 49-28. Coach Bruton, he's no stranger to big games in his career.
You're right.
And now you look at Zachary. The 6th seed will move on to one of the biggest games in the state next week.
Oh, most definitely. Got to be.
Destrehan and Zachary. Good God Almighty. What a quarterfinal.
all I can say is that's going to be a nail biter. I'm going to have to keep my eye on that one while we covering.
Destrehan's head coach missed last week's game. Got a call Friday evening right before game that he had a kidney transplant. Wow. Prayers are with Coach. Hopefully he's healed and be able to give his team for the rest of the playoffs.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Man, that's a matter of life or death there.
Dutchtown Chalmette, Gary, 48-7. Dutchtown, another team flying under the radar, but they're scary good. Back-to-back 40-plus point victories. for those guys.
Yeah.
Now they get this next matchup. Central of Baton Rouge, 2 weeks in a row. They go and knock off East St. John on the road, and then they go and knock off Neville and in Neville's home field. Gary, it's not the easiest places to win, but nobody told Central that this was not a business trip for them.
Right.
17-16, what a win. Coaching matters.
Coaching does matter, but the thing about it is that Neville has had success and a tradition of winning and playing at their home field. You don't beat Neville in Neville.
Somebody said this is the first time in quite a few years Neville has not made it to Thanksgiving week. So for Central to go down there and do that,
man,
hats off to you.
Hats off to you. I think that makes it to be a crazy, quarterfinals in this bracket. I mean, I can't say nothing more than that. Look out.
Yes, but one of the biggest wins in the state last week was Central over Neville. So congratulations, well deserved, Coach Semino. He's got those guys believing, and Gary, watch out.
Watch out for them. It's going to be interesting.
Gary, let's take a look at the quarterfinal matchups here that we'll get to see on Wednesday night.
Yes, sir.
We'll get a little preview here tonight. Ruston, your number 1 ranked team in the state, will play a red-hot 9 seed of Walker. You got Ruston's defense, Walker's offense. That one should be fun. Ruston will host Walker, so get ready.
Yep.
21 seed Mandeville, 4 seed Airline. That one, they might break the scoreboard of points scored that night. Take the over.
You right.
In that quarterfinal matchup.
You right on that one.
Destrehan as a 3 seed, Zachary as a 6 seed. This has every bit of being where it should have been in the Superdome.
Right.
But we get a Thanksgiving treat here in the quarterfinals.
That may be, a precursor to see who is going to be in the dome.
Yes, this one right here could go either way, my friend. Zachary could pull off the upset. Destrehan could roll at home. Both teams are really, really good.
You're right.
And then Dutchtown and Central, kind of the undercard on this bracket. But, Gary, that is going to be a fun matchup.
Yes, you're right.
Dutchtown's good. Central is playing with crazy momentum and confidence right now. Who wants to play Central right now after the last 2 weeks?
Tell you what, their momentum, they're flying high. But, Dutchtown is scoring. Dutchtown's offense is just clicking. Can Central's defense slow them down?
Gary, these last 2 weeks, I guess I'm on the bandwagon.
That's why you play the game, my friend.
It's going to be some fun in that Division I non-select bracket when we get to Thanksgiving week. But let's shift gears, Gary. Let's go Division II non-select for a second, okay?
Okay.
North Dakota, we were told all week the Ritter in the chat. Remember, we was getting blown up. The Ritter will win this football game. None of us start so. We thought North Dakota could score for days, and their high-powered offense was a engine that could not be stalled. Tonight, on Friday, 63-21, North Dakota back in the driver's seat. Gary, they're marching back to the quarters. They have redemption on their minds.
Right.
But they still have a long ways to get there.
Yeah, they still got some quality opponents that they got to get through before they get to the dome.
Yes, sir. They'll earn it if they get there.
Oh yeah, if they get to the dome, they will earn it.
Next up, Iowa and Plaquemine. We heard it all week. Plaquemine speed, Plaquemine size, a lot of here say that. But Gary, that stadium, when it gets electric in that environment, is nuts. Iowa at home behind that talented offense. The defense is young, but they rose to the occasion in a big-time playoff game. 36-19, Iowa moving on, and we get the anticipated rematch that everyone deserves.
Right.
These two teams met in the semis last year. We get them a week early, and it's the quarterfinals.
Yep.
But what a win for Iowa.
Yep, big-time win.
Opelousas and West Feliciana battled it out on Friday. Gary, I think everybody was in favor, said Opelousas would go pull this upset. And to go shut out West Feliciana on their home turf, that even speaks more remarkable job of what Coach Zachary has done with that program. They're ready for big game football. They're built, they're battle tested for it.
Right.
This was check one under that column.
Okay, OHS is, like you said, they're battle tested, but they're all in. They're all in. It's basically they're going to leave everything on the field.
Going for the dome.
Going for the dome. I can't say nothing more than congratulations. I'm so proud that the Tigers are on a roll. I've got some former students that are actually playing on OHS teams, some martial arts students of mine, and they're doing an awesome job. And I guess I've been in business long enough where I got a lot of my little kids from way back that are actually grown up. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what they're focused on. They're focused on the dome or bust.
Good defense.
Yes.
Good rushing attack.
Most definitely.
Good, well-coached football team.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm excited for them.
Abbeville and Lutcher, the defending state champs. You said the phrase. To be the champ, you gotta beat the champ.
Right.
And on Friday night, Wildcats would fall to the champs, and Lutcher would march on to the quarterfinals. Hey, that Bulldog team still around trying to defend their crown, Gary. The 4 seed, 35-12. Watch out, Lutcher.
Right.
Back and playing on Thanksgiving week.
And like I said, they're going to do everything to defend that title. I mean, they said, they're still the champions until somebody beats them.
Yes, sir.
And so they're the defending champions. So they're still the champs until somebody can outdo them.
Impressive win coming off the bye week for the Lutcher Bulldogs.
Correct.
Assumption looked like it was in a dog fight with Brobridge at first, and then they just kicked it into another gear, my friend.
They just went nuts.
43-21. Assumption knocks off Brobridge to move on to the quarterfinals. I know there's a lot of excitement for that Assumption program. Hey, they knocked off Lutcher earlier this year in the season. They were district champs. So are they all in for the state title run here? Very well looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be very interesting. We might have a rematch in the dome. Can't ever tell.
No, can't get a rematch. Lutcher is at the top of the bracket.
That's true. Okay,
yes, sir.
Looking at it wrong.
Assumption was not in the title game last year.
Oh, okay. All right.
But now we go to the game that we covered.
Yep.
22 seed Northwest, 6 seed Wassman. Gary, a lot of people put this Wassman team in the dome as we went into the playoffs. And every bit of advertised coming into the game, the defense was loaded. But tonight, on Friday, Northwest Raiders would not be denied. They came in with a chip on their shoulder. They wanted to defend their home turf. Gary, they played some inspired football. And you talk about a team that's had a really talented defense all year that lost in the trenches to the Raiders.
Right.
Tremendous job what Coach Evers did.
You're right. I'm going to tell you right now, they had everything covered. They basically had an answer for everything that Wassman did.
Our player of the game, he had himself a night.
Oh, he had himself a great night.
He lined up in that Wildcat. They brought in the heavy package. He ran right behind his big offensive tackles that checked into the game and played some fullback for him.
You're right. And I'm going to tell you right now, they did, like I said, they did exactly what they had to do to basically exploit some of the weaknesses that they had in that defense, and there wasn't many. They just kept pounding it, and they ended up.
The will to win was on full display Friday.
They did a great job.
But Wassman, 10-play drive to start the game, went right down the field, scored. We said, uh-oh. And all Northwest did was return the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and we said, all right,
shootout.
We said, Raiders are here to play. They're not intimidated, and that was what I saw when they came out of the locker rooms for pregame.
Right.
I said, okay, Northwest they're here to play.
Right.
They're not intimidated. They know they're the higher seed, but you throw the seeds out when you get to this point of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Congratulations to Northwest.
24-14. What a win. And what a game we covered.
Yeah, great
what
team.
What an opportunity.
But Northwest wanted it a little bit more.
What an opportunity,
Oh,
right?
yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
St. Martinville and Jennings, boy, did that one live up to the height.
You're right.
You threw the records out. You threw the seeds out in this one. Jennings, Coach Fusilier, he's got those guys to go on the road and take down St. Martinville 25-23. This Jennings team, they are dangerous. They're really good.
Yeah, I picked it, and I'm going to tell you right now, there was just something. This was hard for me because I knew it was going to be a tight game, but Jennings just had a little bit more oomph, and they had the edge. So, congratulations to them.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you who else is a dangerous team.
Ooh, yes.
I'll tell you what. The 2 seed, Cecilia Bulldogs, played the 15 seed Iota, and Diesel Solari and I forgot the other tailback's name. They went crazy on the ground and hung a 70-piece on the scoreboard. Gary, Cecilia is fun, fast, and wild. And they're a big wow of this bracket. They're very good.
That was the wow of the bracket right there. Big wow.
70-piece.
Congratulations. That's all I can say.
I don't know if Cecilia is looking past anybody. I think they're taking it one game at a time, but you want to beat this team, you got to score some offense.
You better. And, we were talking about that at the recap show and everything. Diesel's for real. He is for real.
Yes, sir.
Don't ever let anybody say anything different. He is for real.
All right, let's take a look at these quarterfinal matchups, my friend. North Dakota, 1 seed, rightfully so. They've been playing tremendous football all season. They're going to play the 8 seed Iowa Yellow Jackets this week. Quarterfinal rematch of a year ago when these two teams met in the semis. North Dakota came down, met Iowa at Iowa, and took care of that game. No problems there, but we fast forward a year. The tables are turned. It's a week earlier. Iowa will head to North Dakota, and get ready, Gary. Should be a fun ball game.
You're right. I think it's. I'm at that point where I just say, look out. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
We'll see if Iowa can pull off a major upset, or if North Dakota is in the driver's seat headed to the semis. We'll see.
You're right.
And then you look at your next matchup. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Guess who's got a good shot to beat the champ this week?
Our Tigers.
Opelousas Tigers has a really good shot, but it won't be easy.
No, you're going to have to be playing above and beyond normal to beat Lutcher.
Lutcher in their stadium.
Yes.
You know that place is going to be rocking for quarterfinal week, but if I know Jimmy Zachary, he's going to have those guys ready to go.
Right.
And we'll see what happens after 48 minutes. You talk about 48 minutes of fun football there. That's going to be a hard-hitting affair. May the best team win at the end of it.
You're right.
Assumption and Northwest. Raiders don't care who they play right now, Gary.
No, they're ready
Raiders
to play
are ready
anybody.
to take a road trip and take on Assumption. Be careful. Raiders might make it 3 in a row here.
Hey, you beat the 14 seed.
11-6, and now they get the shot
at
3.
11-6, and then now at 3. Look out. You don't know what's going to happen. That's why you play the game.
They got a good shot. And then Jennings and Cecilia. If Jennings' defense can keep them in the game, or will Cecilia make this another track meet like they've been doing all season long?
Man, I'm going to tell you.
Cecilia's dangerous.
Cecilia is looking good.
Gary, what if we would get a 12 versus 22 state championship game, and Opelousas and Northwest met in the Dome? That would be incredible.
But it is possible.
A long way from there, but that would be incredible.
Yes, it would. It would.
But they got some heavy hitters in this bracket still remaining.
Yep.
Shifting gears, Gary, Division III non-select. Gina Giants start us off. a district foe came into town. No problems with Caldwell Parish, 46-7. Giants move on. No rust after that bye week.
No, not at all.
Amite and Joel Sumner, they meet in a rematch. And this time, Joel Sumner beat them back in week 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But Amite would get them and shut them out here in round 2, 21-0. So Warriors get it back here. Bogalusa and Laurelville meet. Bogalusa knocks Laurelville out of the playoffs. They got a good offense over there in Bogalusa. Union Parish met up with Port Allen. That was a 4-20. We expected this score to look like this. Union Parish, they got on the right side of the bracket. Watch out for the Farmers, Gary.
You're right. Farmers. You know, everybody kept on saying that since Trey Holly wasn't there, they weren't going to be any good. Guess what? They just reloaded. That young man that's running for Union Parish now is every bit. I don't want to say he's as good, but he is comparable.
Yes, sir. St. James and North Webster, 42-12, as many expected. That St. James football team, they're a talented bunch of guys in that locker room.
Yeah.
Watch out for them. Their march to the dome continues.
Right.
Manny, no problems with South Plaquemines, 45-0. Holly's Lock of the Week strikes. Pine, long road trip. It is a successful one and a good drive back home. 28-6 over Avoyles, but Pine got to take another long road trip this week. Oof.
Yeah,
back-to-back long ones. And then Sterlington on Thursday night. This was a 15-15 tie ball game at halftime, and then they turned on cruise control in the second half. 35-15 Sterlington over Mansfield.
That was, that in itself just tells you that, these good teams, these talented teams can flick a switch. It just
yes, Gary. All 8 top seeds won in the second round and move on to the quarters.
Right.
So we will have 1 versus 8, 5, 4, 3, 6, and 2, 7.
Right. It's going to be exciting.
And we look at this bracket here. Gina and Amite. Boy, does that sound like a ball game waiting to happen on Friday night in the quarters. But if I know the Gina Giants, that stadium is going to be wild, and the Giants are going to be up for the task against an Amite Warrior team that's all too familiar with making roads to the dome.
Correct. We watched Gina earlier this year, and I'll tell you what, that's a special ball club. Special ball club.
Bogalusa and Union Parish. This looks like it could be a track meet waiting to happen. Which offense will prevail? Which defense will get a stop at the end? Or will one of them dominate this game? To be determined.
You're right. You're right.
St. James and Manny, get ready for
it's gonna be fun.
Fireworks in the making. You got to beat a champ, you got to beat the champ in your phrase. Well, St. James, they're going to have the state champs in their own stadium. 3 versus 6. This has state championships circled all over it right here.
You're right.
And it's going to be a fun, wild ride between these two teams. But expect to see a fun score after this one.
You're right. You're right.
Pine and Sterlington, that's a long road trip for those guys. We'll see if they're game to go knock off a Giant in Sterlington this week.
Sterlington is going to be, that is going to be, a hard team for Pine to go out there and compete with. But you know what? Hey, anything has happened. Anything can happen.
Yes.
So that's why we play the game.
You look at this here, Gary. Union Parish trying to get back to the title game. Manny trying to get back to the title game. They got some tough matchups this week. But Union Parish gets them at home. Manny has to take the long road trip.
Right.
With St. James. So that state title rematch is very questionable after these quarterfinals are set up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You look at a lot of potential upsets here. Amite and Gina, you're going to have to look at that one. Amite, no slouch of being a quarterfinal team year in and year out. And then not sure with the slow start last week with Sterlington, will they get things rolling here in round 3? Could Pine go pull off a major upset this week? we'll see.
Yeah. How they say that's why we play the game.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna be easy.
Nope, not at all.
That stadium, that team, they look every bit of ready to get to the dome.
You're right.
Division 4 non-select. Logansport and Franklin. This game was hyped up all week, Gary, and it did not live up to the hype. Logansport ran away with it. They showed their dominance, 64-12. That is what a 1 seed's supposed to do when you're coming off of a bye. No ring rust. Logansport Tigers marched to the quarters.
You're right, Jordy. I mean, they just flexed their muscles. They did what they had to do.
Tell you what, another team here, 8-9 matchup. Usually we see a more competitive when we see 8-9 matchups. Right. But on this one, it would be Welsh and White Castle, 54-18 Greyhounds. We said it, they were coming in. They won 7 of their last 8. They were red hot. And
they proved it.
They proved it, Gary. And that's why this quarterfinal matchup is going to be so fun. And what an opportunity it is to cover Logansport and Welsh this week.
You're right.
2 teams coming off of blowout wins. Their offenses look good in the second round.
Right.
Their defenses look good in the second round. Gary, Welsh, 42 points in round 1, 54 in round 2. I'm ready to see what happens on Friday night between two talented football teams.
Oh God, I think it's going. I have a feeling it's going to be a track meet.
Thank you to head football coach at Logansport. Thank you to head football coach at Welsh for the opportunity to cover your quarterfinal matchup under the lights. Road trip, my friend.
I'm ready to go, buddy.
Jeanerette, East Feliciana, 5 versus 12. A lot of people put East Feliciana in the quarterfinals after Jeanerette had a tough game in round 1. They had a slow start against West St. John, the last team to get in. But on Friday night, they would flip a switch and they would come ready to play, and they would get a well-earned 28-20 win over East Feliciana.
Right.
Congratulations to Jeanerette, one of our only locals, 2 locals. One of our 2 locals still remaining in this bracket.
Right. They just did what they had to do. Like I said, I have a feeling that was a very exciting ball game. And I'm just happy to see that Jeanerette came out on top.
Yes, sir. They were highly ranked all season long.
Correct.
And to see them back-to-back weeks get a big win, great job. But, Gary, doesn't get easier.
Oh, no.
They got to take a road trip basically to Arkansas this week and take on the winner of the second-round matchup. Haynesville Golden Tornado knocked off General Trask 48-22 to set up a big matchup next week. But congratulations, Golden Tornado. Yeah. We know those guys are always in the mix in another year. Here they go.
Yep. They're always tough there, Jordy, and they just keep flexing their muscles. Like I said, I think they're going to be. I think that's going to be a very exciting game.
It could be.
Jeanerette has to travel.
Or it could go one way.
Yeah.
It could go one way, or it could be exciting.
Yeah.
Depends on how they handle the trip.
Right. Will there be fatigue from that long trip? I mean, because you're going, like you said, you're going all the way to Arkansas almost. So it's up there. So we'll see. We will see.
Yes, sir. Oak Grove, your defending state champs, knocks out one of our locals this week, 49-20. So congratulations to Oak Grove, moving along in the bracket, defending their title. Another one to be the champ. You got to beat the champion.
You're right.
I don't think anybody's coming close to beating them anytime soon.
Not right now.
Will Mangum be the guys to take them out in the third round? Mangum 53-14 winners over Centerville. That was a long road trip for those guys. They handled the road trip well.
Yeah,
and they took care of business, and they had a fun ride home. Now they get a crack at the state champs.
You're right. It's gonna be interesting.
Homer and Oakdale. This 7-10 matchup was one of the better 7-10 matchups we've seen up to this point.
Right.
Hey, Oakdale, they came and they fought with everything they had. They scored at the end. They recovered an onside kick that gave them a chance. And at the end of big-time football games, all you want is a chance, Gary.
Yeah. And
if I have a chance to see I can go win a football game, let me have that opportunity.
Right.
The ball did not bounce their way. Congratulations to a great season, but congratulations to Homer.
Right.
Sometimes it takes one defensive stop.
Right. And, when you have a 34-32 ball game, that just makes you – it shows you how evenly matched those guys are. And I'm excited for them. My heart goes out to Mikey and all the Oakdale Warriors, but they had a great season.
Absolutely. Kentwood under the water tower would roll 46-8 over Faraday. Watch out for the rules moving forward.
Look out! That's going to be an exciting quarterfinal matchup. But the Roos are always hard to beat under the water tower.
Yes.
And I don't care what anybody says. That particular Kentwood has always been a strong ball club. As far as year in and out, they're always in contention. You always hear people talking about them. I mean, it's amazing.
Yep.
So congratulations.
All the top seeds remain in this bracket, Gary. 1 versus 8, 5, 4, 3, 6, 2, 7. And this is what everyone predicted pretty much when the brackets came out. We expected to see these top 8 seeds here. Maybe a wrench every now and then. Maybe we'd have thought that East Feliciana might have got there, but a lot of people, 90% of the brackets, saw this 8 happening.
Correct.
So Logansport Welsh should be a dandy and should be a crazy, wild home field advantage. Because I know Logansport loves their football. I can't wait to get a taste of playoff football up north.
You're right, man. I'm excited about the trip.
Jeanerette and Haynesfield, that's going to be a fun game to see what happens. Golden Tornado, tough place to play. And Haynesville, they're dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Oak Grove and Mangum. Can Mangum shock the state and knock off the state champs? We'll see.
That's going to be hard to do.
And then Homer Kentwood, one of the better matchups in this bracket moving in the quarterfinals.
Right.
So, Division 4 non-select brackets are set. We'll move along, Gary. Division 1 select. Recap show edition. Holy Cross and Jesuit, 1 versus 16. Holy Cross, that talented quarterback and that talented receiving core. I think this is 2 games in a row that they've met where Holy Cross has shut those guys out. So, they're feeling good when they play Jesuit this season, and they move on to the quarterfinals. 8 seed Acadiana, 9 seed Carencro. Your old phrase, it's hard to beat somebody twice in one season.
Right.
But Acadiana Wrecking Rams.
They did it.
14-7 at Bill Dotson Stadium. What a crazy environment that must have been. And congratulations to the Wrecking Rams. You moving on to the quarters, and I think the Acadiana Wrecking Rams are glad to be back. It's been a couple years.
You're right. It has. But they got their hands full with Holy Cross. That's going to be a tough place to play.
Yes, sir. Good road trip for those guys.
Yeah.
Acadiana, good to see them back in the quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Edna Carr, look like they are at full force and ready to get back to the title game. Gary, been a while since we've seen Carr playing for a title.
You're right.
They look dangerous. They look like they're ready to get back.
Man.
50-0 over Woodlawn.
The University of Edna Carr is clicking right now, man. They're going to be a scary team to play.
What else we got, Gary? Oh, yeah. Upset.
Right.
13 seed Alexandria knocks off the state runner-ups a year ago, Brother Martin. That was a long road trip, but it was worth every mile. 23-0. Congratulations.
They didn't just beat them, Jordy. They shut them out, man. I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
Go back to
score.
Alexandria, Gary. They were losing to teams earlier in the season that were battle tested, and then they played a tough district, losing by one score to a couple teams that are still playing today.
Right.
Alexandria, they wasn't your average 13 seed, but this is not your average Division I bracket either.
No, it's not. But Hey, congratulations to Alexandria. You get the opportunity to go and face Edna Karr.
Hey, back-to-back road trips to
Right.
New Orleans, and I'm sure those guys are playing on an all-time high right now. Now they get a crack at it, one of the best in the state.
One of the best programs in history of the state. I mean, Edna Karr's been so strong for so long, man. That's going to be hard to beat them.
Catholic will be our 45-9 victory over John Ehret. Ever since Week 10, we've seen Catholic of Baton Rouge turn it up a notch. They knocked off Zachary. They get the bye last week, and then they come in and knock off John Ehret 45-9. Those guys are a 3 seed. Those guys are scary good. St. Aug and John Curtis, boy, this one was a thriller. This one had a little bit of everything. 42-49, St. Aug takes Curtis to the wire, and Curtis escapes with a win. But hats off to St. Aug for they get into the playoffs, and they look what they do. They didn't have a winning record, but they get into the playoffs. You know this division, that Catholic League is something.
Most definitely. And, you know, that's – you can say what you want. They beat each other up all year in that Catholic League in New Orleans, and they just put it on you. Look out.
There was a question in the chat, Gary. Have y'all ever covered Logansport before? Because I don't believe y'all have covered Welsh. And usually you announce how many times you cover wins and when you do. So the irony here, Gary, it's going to be the very first time we cover Logansport.
Right.
So that'll be another team we add to the list.
Correct.
It's going to be the very first time we go to Logansport, so that'll be a new stadium.
Correct.
We have covered Welsh in the past.
Right.
So beginning years of Under the Lights, Port Barry played Welsh at Welsh, and we covered that game. Welsh won. So Welsh
is
1-0 when Under the Lights covers.
Right.
And if you need proof, I can dig that old video up. I think it was 2019 is when we covered that game.
Yeah, that was a while back.
So
that was during its infant stages of Under the Lights, guys.
So Under the Lights' first season. We were just covering Port Barry back then.
Correct.
All right, let's see. St. Paul's on the table tonight, Gary, because of what a job they have done and what a team they have.
Right.
38-14, Tioga. They knock off Tioga and move on to the quarters. And then Archbishop Rummel knocks off Captain Shreve. Two seeds knocked off in the playoffs. Shreve was the second victim. Rummel, don't let them get hot.
You're right. All I can say is that I thought Shreve was going to be stronger than that, but man, Rummel came in and really dominated. So, what was that? 12-3. What was the score?
It was 13-3.
13-3. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey. They just. I've always been a Rummel fan. I've always liked them, but I just thought Captain Shreve was going to be a little bit stronger. But man, they just said no. We're still here, and Rummel is rolling.
Yep. I'll send you the video after the show, Miss Denise. Gary, look at these quarterfinal matchups and get ready. This is going to be probably some of your better games in the entire state, bracket-wise.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
No. I actually have communications with the broadcast team at St. Paul's. So we met at the McDonald's in Port Barry in exchange. He was on his way to a playoff game a year ago.
Right. I remember when we got it, yeah.
He met us there, dropped it off. We had a nice conversation. So the broadcast team with St. Paul's got us that helmet. So thank you, Coach. Good to have connections in the state, Gary. Good to build friendships.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Let's see. Braden says Rummel's getting really healthy. Very familiar with St. Paul's. They have played against each other in Jamboree the last 20 years. So that's add a little extra spice this year.
Hey, let's do it. That's going to be awesome.
Trip to the semis on the line. Gary, Holy Cross and Acadiana, 1 versus 8. You know Holy Cross wants to sling that thing.
Yeah.
But Acadiana, they're going to come in and grind it out and try to play keep away. Can the Fear to Veer go pull off a major upset on Friday? It's going to be fun.
Well, you're going to have a team like Acadiana that wants to control the ball and just drive, and score. And you got Holy Cross that just wants to go back and throw it.
Canatella is a talented quarterback.
Oh, my God. Is he? So which team will overcome? The 3 yards in a cloud of dust or, air raid, whatever you want to call it, just flinging it.
Yes.
So let's see what happens.
Edna Core and Alexandria. I guess Alexandria could say they're playing their best football at the right time.
Correct.
That gives them a little confidence going into this mega matchup with Edna Core. And I guess if you think to yourself, Edna Core has had some slow starts this year. Can you catch Edna Core in a slow start and pull off a major upset? But if you catch Edna Core in their vision to get to the dome, watch out.
Oh, yeah. Core, let me tell you something. Edna Core is going to be a hard team to beat. Alexandria has to come out gunning and scoring from the beginning, like you said, and hope that Edna Core has a little hiccup at the beginning. Because once they get going, they don't stop.
Should be fun. We'll see, but I'm more confident right now with Alexandria than I was earlier in the season.
Yeah, myself.
Gary, we talked about circling Destrehan and Zachary earlier. Gary, you can circle this big-time football game here in the quarterfinals. 3 seed Catholic of Baton Rouge versus 6 seed John Curtis. Circle it, get ready. 2 heavyweights meet inside the octagon on Friday night.
That is going to be one of the premier games of the year. I'm sorry. I have to say I like both of these teams. I think that they're explosive and they're just hard to beat. So this is going to be one of those wild games that I think everybody's going to want to watch.
Yes, and I think they will be on VSN if I'm not mistaken, so we'll keep a close eye out on it just to have a peek on a big-time matchup in the state.
You're right.
And then St. Paul's versus Rummel. This is going to be every bit of advertised. Throw the records and seeds out. 2 well-coached programs going to battle it out on Friday. I like this matchup a lot.
I do too. I think Rummel is making a statement, and St. Paul's better be careful because when Rummel gets started, they're going to be hard to stop.
Gary, figure this out. If Holy Cross, Edna Core, John Curtis, and Rummel wins this week, that's all Catholic League in the semifinals.
It's possible.
Yes.
It's very possible. Oh, my God.
So, that would be interesting in to say itself, but Acadiana, Alexandria, Catholic BR, and St. Paul's, don't sleep on them.
I know. You better be ready to play.
Division II select, my friend, St. Thomas More Cougar Stadium.
Yes.
Number 1 ranked team in the state rolled over Estruma 57-14. St. Michael and Livingston 49-14. St. Michael's. So 2 teams there coming off of a bye. No problems for those guys. Archbishop Shaw was trailing at one point against Evangel, and then unanswered points and a thrilling win. Shaw marches to the quarters 20-13, but not before they had to do some work there at the towards the end.
Remember when we were talking about at the pick show last week about if Evangel's back? Well, they may not be back right this minute, but I think they're back.
Yeah, they're in contention to be a well-fueled old machine moving forward next year and the years to come.
Most definitely.
John F. Kennedy versus Vanderbilt Catholic. Somebody said that this one could be an upset waiting to happen. I didn't see it.
Then it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. Beat them by 40, Gary.
Right.
46-6. And then LCA, the Redemption Tour. Night Train rolls another week, 54-20. Juwan Johnson has it out to get back to the Dome.
Right.
Very well could be.
I got to say congratulations to Peabody for a great year. Harry Coleman doing an awesome job out there. Keep it up, man. You're changing.
I don't think he lost many seniors.
No,
so
he's changing the philosophy of
and
Peabody.
then Neville gets out of that district next
Right,
year.
that's true. That's true.
Watch out. We may see a district champion in the near future for Peabody.
We might.
Gary, another upset happened on Friday. McDonough 35 takes the long road trip. They knock off St. Louis. And boy, we did not see this score coming, and a lot of us did not see this upset coming. A few of us on the panel picked it, but a lot of us had LCA and St. Louis pinned in. But what a tremendous job by McDonough 35. Road Dogs handling business 53-23 to set up a huge matchup next week.
Right. That's gonna be exciting. I can't wait to see that. But McDonough 35 is gonna have to be. They're gonna have to be.
We talked about St. Louis's defense,
ready to go.
and McDonough 35 must have been clicking on all cylinders.
You're right.
What else happened, Gary? Oh yeah, Turlings
Turlings.
and Madison Prep met Friday night, and Turlings, a thriller at home. 31-30, one of those 1-point victories this year, this playoffs that you tell yourself, whew, boy, we got past that one.
You're right. That had to be an exciting game. Madison Prep is always, man, for the last few years they've been phenomenal. But Turlings was just clicking, and they just got back in the quarters again.
And De La Salle and Edie White. I heard Edie White with a game-winning touchdown from the Nichols commit, if I'm not mistaken there, Troy. You can let me know in the chat. But a 31-27 Edie White victory. The Cardinals march on to the quarters, Gary.
You're right.
Stay undefeated.
Tell you what, that's Edie White. I don't know what it is, but I've always liked him. But to beat De La Salle, you can say what they want. De La Salle is a 15th seed. Let me tell you something. That's not a 15 seed. I don't care what anybody says.
We've had some good 15 seeds we've seen.
De La Salle is a good ball club, and but I got to say, hats off to Edie White for staying unbeaten and getting to the quarters.
Good teams find ways to win games whenever they get crunched.
You're right.
Gary, take a look at these quarterfinals. St. Thomas More and St. Michael's. Can that be a close game? I don't know,
so.
man. I think St. Thomas More
they
fell on the right side of the bracket to roll to the semis.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Man.
Then you have you got Shaw and
Shaw
Kennedy.
and John F. Kennedy, 5 versus 4. I think that you can expect offense in this one.
Yes, most definitely.
And then LCA McDonough 35. Will the redemption tour be denied, or will the night train roll again? And then Turlings and Edie White. Can Turlings get back to the semifinals another year? Or is Edie White's perfect season live on another day? I'll tell you what, that Turlings and Edie White game will be fun. The Shaw and John F. Kennedy game will be fun. So some good matchups here.
Yeah. But, STM's playing
that
well,
game
and so
could
is
be lopsided.
LCA. Yeah, I think that's gonna be interesting on those.
And LCA, fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Any given Friday, anybody could be upset. Look what they just did to St. Louis.
Right, exactly. Can't ever tell.
Gary, Division III Select. St. Charles Catholic state champs coming off of a bye, dominating win, shutout at home, 43-0 over Ascension Episcopal.
Right.
And then Notre Dame, everyone saw this coming. The Auburn Woods Charter, we did not think they were a top 8 seed. And the Pios
proved it.
49-7. Lake Charles College Prep, they got into the playoffs and they started playing some prep football. Back-to-back wins, convincing win in round 1, and then a defensive thriller, if you can say. You like defense, this was the place to be on Friday. Lake Charles College Prep 7, Catholic New Iberia 3. What a win for Prep.
You're right.
ULab, no problems with Patrick Taylor. We figured this one could get out of hand.
And
62-6. Newman, 45-0 victory over St. Thomas Aquinas. And then an upset here in the quarterfinals. 11-seed Episcopal knocks off Bunkie 38-14. What a job Episcopal has done. Back-to-back weeks. 50 a week ago, 38 this week. They're moving on to the quarters. Sad to see Bunkie go home this early, but what a tremendous season, and congratulations to those guys. But Episcopal, Friday night, ball was in their corner.
Their corner, right. You're right.
Dunham and Parkview Baptist, their rematch from earlier in the season, and Parkview Baptist would get them again, Gary. 39-32 road win. Parkview Baptist, the Eagles are moving on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, these two teams play each other pretty freely. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Parkview is a hard team to play. They are always good, consistently. They've been consistent. So when you play everybody as much as they play each other, you don't know what's going to happen.
I agree.
Yeah.
Gary, one more for you. Calvary Baptist, no problems with Holy Savior Menard, 49-0. Now we take a look at some of these brackets.
Oh, man.
St. Charles, Notre Dame, the rematch of the rematch of the rematch has went St. Charles's way these last couple years. Will it be a consistent thing of Notre Dame getting knocked out the playoffs by the Comets?
Right. St. Charles is playing great football. Notre Dame is going to have their hands full. Coach Louis Cooks, if anybody can get his team ready, it's Louis Cook.
You look at St. Charles.
But St. Charles is tough.
Yes, sir. That won't be easy.
No.
But we'll see if, I think fourth time the charm? We'll see. But St. Charles, Notre Dame, good one on Friday.
Right.
Comets trying to go repeat. Three-peat, my mistake.
Yeah, three-peat. It's going to be three-peat.
Lake Charles College Prep, their Cinderella run will take a huge, how you say that, Gary? It will take a lot to knock off this next opponent. Can they ride another week? University Lab will welcome in the Prep. Might be the first time these two teams have ever met.
Probably.
In
and
school
they're playing
history.
In Baton Rouge.
We'll meet in Baton Rouge. And then we take a look. Newman and Episcopal. Episcopal's got a talented running back.
Right.
Newman's got a talented quarterback. So we'll see what happens in that quarterfinal. And then Calvary Baptist and Parkview Baptist. So much history around these two teams. Championship programs. Now they get to meet in the quarters. Not sure if these two teams have ever met in school history. If anybody wants to let us know if Parkview and Calvary's ever met. But Gary,
that's going to be an exciting ball game.
That could be one for the making when Calvary and Parkview meet up. Could we see an upset? I don't know. Calvary, they're undefeated. They've been rolling all season. We'll see what happens. But a couple of these matchups might be first time ever, so we see.
Right. We'll see. Now this one.
This Division 4 bracket you're talking about?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Division 4 Select is our next bracket to recap. Vermilion Catholic 48-12 winners over Delhi Charter Screaming Eagles scream their way into the quarterfinals.
VC is playing some possessed football.
Well, 2 years in a row.
Yep.
But coaching matters.
Yeah, most definitely.
Ascension Catholic behind a 9-touchdown night behind a running back. Tell you what, Ascension Catholic's got OC's number, and they have knocked them out of the playoffs back-to-back years.
Right.
77-43. Boy, I bet if you're a commentator, that was tough to keep up with.
Jordy, you score 43 points in a game, you expect to win. And that just means that, goodness, man, there was no defense in this game. That was just no defense.
Catholic played enough.
Yeah.
Played a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
wow.
We'll see that quarterfinal matchup between Ascension Catholic and VC. That's shaping up to be a mega night.
That's going to be a barn burner. They're in Abbeville.
Riverside and Catholic of Poincapi, 14-12. Riverside escapes at home over game Catholic of Poincapi team.
Right.
Hats off to the Hornets going in there trying to pull off the upset. They just fall short, Gary.
Right.
Looks like it might have came down to a 2-point conversion.
That's what it looks like. Man. You know, you can't say anything. Catholic of Poincapi's always been tough and everything, but Riverside, they just had the edge tonight.
Yes, sir. Riverside going to be tough to beat.
Yep.
St. Martin's Episcopal behind Harlem Berry, 40-27 over Covington Christian. That's going to set up a rematch.
Right.
And then Ouachita Christian, no problems with Westminster, 56-7. State champs roll into the quarters.
Right.
St. Mary's and Glenbrook had a very interesting ball game here. This one was a thriller. It came down to the wire. St. Mary's 30, Glenbrook 27. Great job to St. Mary's. What a win.
Must have been a exciting ball game.
And I'll tell you what, this next one must have been every bit of sitting on the edge of your seat because you didn't know what was about to happen next, Gary.
You're right.
Central Catholic knocks off St. Frederick 6-2. How do you even draw up a baseball score here in the second round?
The defensive must have just been not giving up anything, you know. And St. Frederick's defense seems to they scored. You know, they had to score. You know,
Gary, it wasn't no weather that was into play.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So I mean,
the defenses had to have been going.
If you a defensive coordinator, boy, you slept good that night.
I'll tell you what, you're right. Whew.
There wasn't no offense. There wasn't no problems with offense in this next game. Southern Lab 47, Hanson Memorial 27. The Lab moves on to the quarters, my friend.
They're going to be a scary ball club.
Yes, sir. So we look at the quarterfinal matchups, and then we start off with the big one: Vermilion Catholic and Ascension Catholic. That one should be on VSN. I'm excited to watch that one in the broadcast booth Friday night. We'll see if the Screaming Eagles can march on to the semis. Gary, Riverside and St. Martin's Episcopals rematch. Remember, Riverside beat these guys pretty handily earlier in the season.
Right.
But hard to beat somebody twice in the season. We'll see if things are different this go around.
Correct.
Ouachita Christian and St. Mary's will meet. St. Mary's, they got their hands full, but any given Friday, we've seen crazier things happen. Yeah. We'll see if the state champs move on to the semis.
Ouachita Christian man, they're scary. I hate to say it, they are scary.
Gary, and then Central Catholic coming off of a 6-2 ball game. You got to think their defense is at an all-time high right now with confidence. But now, if you have to get into a track meet with Southern Lab, man, that's going to be a tough task. CC Southern Lab. We'll see what type of game that will be. Will it be defensive slugfest or offensive showdown?
I don't know if you can slow down Southern Lab that much, man. You know, Southern Lab kicks. They gonna move it.
Well, how fun would Southern Lab and Ouachita Christian be next week? In the semis.
In the semis, that would be awesome. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Remember, everyone, higher seeds will host the quarterfinals this round. Gary Swallow, we talked about the matchups that are to be determined here in the quarterfinals because we're less than a week away.
Right.
We got the Wednesday show. We got Thanksgiving on Thursday. We got Friday night football, and it's going to be a great quarterfinal. Happy Turkey Week to all the teams still standing. This is a goal for a lot of teams around the state of Louisiana. Gary, as we close out the show tonight, give me your final thoughts as we head into quarterfinal week. You just saw the games. Right. I know you're fired up for them.
Jordy, the games that are coming up this week are going to be so epic. They're going to be awesome because
got some state title games
in the quarters. You got basically, like you say, you got some state title games that are going to probably determine the champion here in the quarterfinals. Because the winner of that game is probably going to go through the rest of through the semis and the championship game and win. This is where it's all about. This is what every team wants to be here on Thanksgiving week, getting themselves prepped And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm excited. I think that it's gonna be a great week of football, and I can't wait to see it. All I can say is, you guys, don't leave anything behind. Don't leave anything hanging. Leave it all on the field. Have fun. Enjoy. Prep. Get yourself prepared as if this was the last game you're going to play, because for some people it might. So just do your best. Have fun. Leave it all out there, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Hey, go ahead and shout out your favorite team if they're still in the playoff brackets at this time. We want to wish everyone a great Thanksgiving break coming up, my friend.
Right.
Enjoy the work week. Congratulations to the teams that will get to experience Thanksgiving week. I know there's a lot of teams that have experienced it in the past, but you date back some of these teams that will experience Thanksgiving week. It's been a lot of years, Gary.
Right.
So what a honor and what a well-earned thing these guys will have in store this coming week.
Right.
Don't let the moment overshadow the fact that you still got a big game on Friday to go take care of business.
Correct.
Enjoy every moment of it.
Right.
But it's still a business on Friday.
Right. And don't forget, on Wednesday our show's going to start at 7, not 8:30, because I don't have class that day. We're going to be off for the Thanksgiving break. But don't forget about that. Make sure you check on around 7 o'clock. We'll be here.
Yep. So once again, thank you, my friend, for allowing us to do the recap show here on a Sunday edition, 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Gonna be hard to pull off a recap show next Friday unless we pull into a Whataburger parking lot and pop up a table on the way home from Logansport. But that's a 3-hour road trip, my friend. So
it is.
You think about it. Get done about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Take everything apart, load everything. You're looking about a 2, 3, 4 a.m. Get home.
No, yeah, we ain't gonna do the recap show Friday.
It would have to be in a parking lot while we eating some food.
That's right. And that's possible too.
Yes, very possible before we hit the road to head home. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the much love and support these last 12 weeks that you have shown the platform, and thank you to everyone for the prayers this last week. It's very grateful for you guys that have reached out and sent many prayers. Gary Swallow, can't wait for the Game Pick show on Wednesday night.
Right.
7 o'clock edition. We will pick quarterfinal matchups, and a lot of these games, it will be a tough one on us.
Right.
We're going to figure it out. We're probably going to be dead wrong. But we're going to check out some scores on Friday night and get ready to see who punches their ticket to the semifinals. The field has been cut in half. Get ready, folks. 32 teams remain with their quest to the dome. Gary Swallow, we close it out tonight from Opelousas, Louisiana, here at Gary Swallow's Taekwondo Martial Arts Building. Wednesday night Pick'ems, Friday night Logansport and Welsh. We'll see you then, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, have a great work week, and have a great Thanksgiving week. We say goodbye for now, but we will see you fairly soon. God bless high school football. God bless each and every one of you. God bless my friend Gary Swallow.
And my friend Jordy Taylor.
And God bless UTL. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.